I know it's a little bit of a different election night than the one we had even 2 years ago. It feels pretty different. But I think one of the things that's pretty different is 2 years ago we started election night down 4,500 votes. Now, obviously, we feel like in a very different place. I can tell you it's a lot better this way. So we're very confident about where we are. After seeing some of the initial returns from Stanislaus County, we're taking nothing for granted, but I think it is humbling to see this much support across our community. And we've just seen incredible turnout. Over 200,000 people voted early in this election. I think this turnout is going to be some of the highest we've ever seen in the California Central Valley. I think that's incredibly exciting. But I'd ask everybody out there, as well as the media, to make sure that just like the presidential race, that we are being responsible about our pronouncements. We're not going to declare victory. We're making sure that every ballot gets counted, even if that means we may have to practice a little bit of patience this time around. And so just to take a little bit of a stock from where we've been, I think we've been incredibly proud about the race that we've run over the last 2 years. I think it feels like our country has been tearing itself apart, especially lately. Our strategy, our focus has really been to do the opposite and to try to find opportunities to bring people together. That's exactly what we've done. I mean, we have gotten the first federal funding for a new water project in the Valley in 50 years. We fought to make sure that Vietnam veterans affected by Agent Orange had their medical benefits after waiting for decades. And we passed pandemic relief legislation to make sure that we can keep people safe and save 70,000 jobs right here in the Valley. So I think I'm very proud of what we've been able to accomplish. But this election is much more about the future and what we still need to get done. There is so much left that we need to make sure that we're focusing on. Most importantly, to how do we get this pandemic under control, and how do we get people back to work as quickly and safely as possible. We can't wait until next year to get started on some of those efforts. We can't wait for whoever gets elected in this presidential race to take office. We have to get started even in the next few weeks. As soon as I go to Washington, one of my top priorities is going to be pushing to bring folks to the table to get a stimulus bill finally across the finish line and get some much needed help to make sure that we are accelerating testing, to make sure that we can get a high quality of healthcare here in the Valley, and efforts to make sure that we can invest in much needed infrastructure to get folks back to work in a productive way, which is so desperately needed across the Valley. Until then, as we're working to make that happen, I just want to thank each and every person who cast a vote in this election. Even if you didn't vote for me, I will go out there and fight for you to make sure that we are fighting for the Valley that desperately needs help. I also want to thank all of our volunteers, folks that made phone calls, dropped off literature, and helped us ensure that every person gets a vote. I just heard from some of our volunteers about one of our voting center locations where at 7:55 p.m., 5 minutes before polls closed, 2 new voters walked in, had been unregistered. They registered for the first time ever and cast their ballots. I don't know who they voted for, but I just think that is so exciting, getting folks right in, under the wire, involved in the democratic process. That's been the story of this election. And of course, I also want to thank my wife and my family for standing with me through what has been, I think, a very bizarre election season, and I appreciate all of you joining tonight as well. So with that, I'd love to open it up for questions if anybody has anything that I missed or any clarifying remarks.
Yeah.
Angela?
You touched on this a little bit. This is a purple district, and we're not sure how the final results will end up. What is your message to voters that did not vote for you in District 10 during these divisive times where everything is so polarized?
Yeah. Well, I'd say 2 things. First is I want to listen. If you didn't vote for me, and if I end up winning this election, then I want to understand where your priorities lie. I want to understand what we can be doing differently if there's something that we missed. But I think we also need to be doing a lot more to identify areas of common ground. Just 3 days ago, President Trump signed one of my bills into law, a bill that passed the House unanimously, with every single Republican, every single Democrat on board, passed the Senate unanimously. That's something that obviously doesn't happen, 3 days before most elections to have a president of the other party signing a new bill of legislation by a freshman. But it was exactly because we were able to make sure that we were fighting for farmers on Nutria, finding those areas of common ground, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to find more of those opportunities over the years to come.